Joining us live on the news for more on this is Executive Director of the International Press Center, Lanre Arogogundade. Thank you for joining us on TVC News at 7. Let's begin by getting a reaction to this court order.
It's a very, very welcome development. The International Press Center is happy about the decision of the court. And just like the Nigerian Guild of Editors said through the President and the General Secretary, the judgment affirms our position all along that it is wrong for the National Broadcasting Commission to regularly be the accuser, the prosecutor, or the investigator, and then the judge in its own case, that it cannot acquire, judicial powers, as it were. And all along, we've always maintained that where there are alleged infractions, before the imposition of fine, there should be room for some form of warning. And even where the fines are imposed, there should also be some form of appeal. The DG of the institution cannot just do all this all on its own. So the judgment is a welcome development, and one would hope that the National Broadcasting Commission will learn from this, and not just the Broadcasting Commission, all the stakeholders involved, including the government, so that we can have a regulatory body that does not strangulate in the name of regulation. So it's a welcome judgment.
As it is, this order has been celebrated in different quarters. We've had the Nigerian Guild of Editors come out to celebrate it. But then, do you see this as an indication of end to the era of financial sanctions on broadcast stations?
Well, it may not necessarily be so, because first, we're not sure if the NBC would appeal the judgment of the courts. Where we hope they won't. What we want them to do really is to have industry-wide conversations. Let's sit around the table as stakeholders, because as we speak, there's a bill in the National Assembly seeking the amendment to the National Broadcasting Act, which establishes the National Broadcasting Commission. We can look at this judgment and then look at the act and see what we can do to ensure that we have mechanisms for appeal before hefty fines are imposed, because this is like a maximum, punishment when broadcast stations are alleged, to have committed one form of infraction or the other. So we're celebrating it, believing that it will mark an end, but again, it will depend on the attitude of the NBC. But I'm hopeful that seeing what is going on, how the industry is reacting to this, they will not go on appeal, because they will also be spending taxpayers' money. So let's have a roundtable conversation on how we can resolve this problem.
And that's quite significant, because with freedom of speech and freedom of the press comes responsibility. How would you say the media should self-regulate?
Well, I would say that the media should obey its own guidelines in terms. So when you talk about self-regulating, it's been there all along. We have the Code of Ethics for journalists in Nigeria, which is like the umbrella code of conduct for all journalists and even other media professionals. Apart from that, individual media organizations also have their own in-house code. And then we have some specific ones, like the one we put together towards the elections, the Nigerian Media Code of Election Coverage. And then, of course, the ones that are from statutory, like the Nigerian Broadcasting Code. So all these, what we can do to self-regulate. Sorry, there's power failure in my end. If you're not seeing me very well, is for us to actually take to heart the provisions of this code. We need to be ethical. We need to be professional, and I think that would really be helpful, because it does not help where the media, for example, through our reporting, we are causing incitement, we are promoting hate speech, and all those kind of things. We need to avoid it, particularly given the sensitive period we are going through. We can report the facts, we can report the truth, but then we need to imbibe some principles of journalism, conflict sensitivity, peace journalism, because we need to build a viable society for the media itself to be viable.
Executive Director, International Press Center, Lanre Arogogundade, great talking to you on TVC News at 7.